Welcome back to one more Bespoke. Today I want to just share regarding bottoming of shoes with you. Typically when you are making your pattern, you generate the pattern of the underside of the shoe, your sole pattern. So you just tape up the underside of the last and then generate that pattern. I have found that after lasting the pair, you find that towards the back region is a little bit longer by about, let's say, half a centimeter. So right about from this point to that point and everywhere moving backwards, it's elongated, and there's a reason for that. You add your counter, your heel stiffeners at that back region, and it elongates it by about half a centimeter. So how I correct that problem is to just use the same shape of the back part of the sole pattern and add in that half a centimeter. So see the difference? That way I can now use that newly generated sole pattern that has the extra that I added at the back to fixing my welt. Now of course this is not welt and as in Goodyear construction. This is just a faux welt that's just there for fancy, really not providing any structural support whatsoever to the sole. But having added in that bit at the back there, the next thing to do is to add in the welt. Of course, that I would have glued on, added some glue to the welt, as well as added some glue to the perimeter of the sole outline on the sole itself. So I just used that sole pattern to help me in tracing out, of course, the pattern of the welt. And there we have it. One more thing is where you cut, you just give it a few millimeters extra on the welt before you cut. So there is an overlap really, so that you can bend the sole this way, and that way you cover it up and there will not be any space whatsoever in between the start and the end of the welt. So you maul it into place, hammer it into place, and then every other thing from here on in is tracing and just smoothing out the sole. So there we have it. Let's when you have a sole, don't forget to smoothen out the inside part before attaching it to the sole. When you have heels like this, smoothing out the inside part of the heels before attaching it to the sole, because once you've attached it to the sole, there's nothing else you can do other than to remove it and then do this. So never forget. I've made the mistake of forgetting a few times and it was costly. Now another tip I wanted to share with you is about what is called the heel lift. So you calculate it like so. Now this isn't the last that I'm using, but both of them have generally the same heel lift as others. So you place a piece of pencil and then tilt the last forward. The same measurement that you got should approximately plus or minus be the amount of the height of your heels that you will add to the shoe. That way you won't have a shoe that is tipping forward too much or tipping backwards too much. So next thing is to rough up all the areas that need roughening, attach the heel, and then we'll just couple everything into place and be on our way to celebration. Now that Dremel tool is something you should invest in, especially if you're just starting out with shoemaking. It's actually very handy and can come in to help you more often than not. Now what I want to do, because I'm going to stitch this sole Blake construction wise, I measured from the inner part of the sole such that my stitching line will lie along the length of the teeth of the welt, such that when I stitch, I can catch both the sole, the welt itself, the insole, and then parts of the upper. So everything is held on tightly by the stitching, and you won't have that issue of your shoe is in place but the welt is pulling out. No, that will never happen with this shoe. And then of course certainly the sole will certainly not be pulling off. So I mark out my stitching holes using my pair of dividers, and this is what the shoe looks like. So those are my stitching holes. I'm just basically going to stitch right now, and that will be the end of the process. So I would just hurry along and stitch this up before I do some finishing. I probably will do another video where I share with you the final outcome of this shoe. Like I said, this shoe belongs to my wife. Hopefully she will like it when I'm done with it. Thought to share these with you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a lovely time. God bless you.